Hello, everyone. You're welcome to the JMA Connection for yet another very important news flash and news analysis. You may observe today that, I'm looking perhaps all smiles for good reason. For good reason, because the discussion we are going to be having today is very interesting. Today is Monday, and this Monday is the 17th day of November 2025. If you notice, we are just 10 days away from marking exactly 1 month from the day Paul Biya, Barthélemy Bimvondo, the nonagenarian diaper-wearing genocidaire of the Republic of Cameroon, took an oath of office that he had won the October 12th presidential election. Since that moment until today, everyone is looking left and right and wondering, what will Paul Biya do of that so-called victory? Don't forget that on this platform, I have talked here about the very important notion that there are two presidents now in Cameroon. Whether Issa Tchiroma Bakari has taken oath of office or not, whether he has been sworn in or not, whether he has named a government or not, that doesn't take away from him that he still enjoys legitimacy. Because, like I said, legitimacy is a property of the people. This is a right conferred on the people by the Constitution. And the people, therefore, can confer this legitimacy on whomsoever they want during electoral processes. And so, this time, they conferred it on Issa Tchiroma Bakari. But Paul Biya has the army. He has, all the institutions at his beck and call. And so he caused the Constitutional Council to proclaim him the winner of the election and got the parliament, of course, to swear him in as president. So right now, to some extent, or to some light really, and clearly, he enjoys legality. So he has legality, Issa Tchiroma Bakari has legitimacy. But there is something that is going on right now. What is happening to Paul Biya and the victory that he grabbed? Is Cameroon currently governed? This is a very fundamental question. What I'm going to be discussing here will amaze you. And I guess you will open your eyes and you start asking yourselves the same questions. And you will start discovering what kind of hellhole that country called Republic of Cameroon is. But first, let me say this. If you are subscribed to this channel, awesome. Make sure you click on the notification buttons to ensure that anytime I'm on, you will get the notification directly. If you are not yet subscribed, go ahead and hit on the subscribe button so that you are always going to be the first to know. Because whenever the news drops, I'll be right here for us to make greater meaning out of it. And most especially, always share the links and get as many more people as possible to subscribe to this platform so we can continue to educate ourselves, to sensitize ourselves, and to mobilize ourselves for the betterment of our lives, to make sure we will, at the end of the day, leave a better place for future generations of Southern Cameroonians. And of course, the Republic of Cameroon, for Cameroonians, when we would have done our own, when we would have left this place. So, my people, I see people still moving around and saying Prime Minister Joseph John Gute and saying Paul Atanganji until he's still moving around and making lousy noise and people are taking instructions from them. Listen, folks, I don't know if anyone realized this. There is no government in Cameroon right now. There is no government. The only person in Cameroon right now with the power to sign anything, at least legally, from the legal viewpoint, is Paul Biya Barthélemy Bimvondo. Do you know that from the moment that they convene the electoral call, or they convene the electorate to the polls, Paul Biya from that moment becomes Paul Biya the candidate, not the president. He only is a lame duck president. Lame duck. Lame duck means that he just exercises the duties of president right up until the day when the new president who will emerge from the elections will be inaugurated. And so, from the moment that they call the elections, Paul Biya, therefore, was a lame duck president. At the time they proclaimed the results of the election, of course, the Constitutional Council said Paul Biya won. Okay, Paul Biya is president-elect. He is the only official in his government. Because the government that was supposedly led by Joseph John Gov't automatically dissolved, disappears. Go check the law. I'm not the one saying it. It automatically disappears. And so when Paul Biya now is inaugurated on the 27th of November, of October, as president of La Republic for a new as president of the Republic, of La Republic, for a new 7-year mandate. At that time, Paul Biya is the only official in his government. Until Paul Biya names a new government, all those who are there now, they're impostors. The only administration that exists in all of those ministries begin from the secretaries general downward, because those are the civil servants who normally are not considered political appointees. Oh yes, right up to secretary general of the ministry, it's still a public service career. From secretary of state, that becomes political. And you now understand why, according to the laws of Cameroon that have not been repealed, civil servants are not supposed to do politics. Civil servants are not supposed to belong to any political party. Not the case where you see now that all civil servants automatically think and are made to believe that they are militants of the CPDM party. That is why you notice when they say, oh, they have contributed this amount for Paul Biya's campaigns, they have contributed this. It is a blackmail that they carry out on all civil servants who even the least position, from deputy chief of service upward, that if you don't contribute, at the end of the day, you may be caused to lose your position. That hasn't got to be. The public service is normally apolitical, right up to the post of Secretary General of the ministry. And so therefore, the only recognized officials in every ministry in that country right now will be from Secretary General downwards. Anything calling itself Secretary of State, Minister, Prime Minister, right now they're illegal. Cameroon does not have a government. Does that make some sense to anyone? Cameroon does not have a government. Normally, while Paul Biya was waiting to be inaugurated, he ought already to be working on his government. So that maximum 48 hours after his inauguration, why not even by 5 p.m. the same day of his inauguration or next day, he will make the list of his new government public. Because the members of government who are there now, they ended with his former mandate. If he needs to keep them in, he needs to reappoint them. If John Gov't has to be prime minister, he needs to be appointed afresh. So this stupid boy, moving all over the place, throwing threats on people, calling young people who are protesting to protect their votes, calling them drug addicts. That one they call Atanga Ponji. Right now, he does not legally hold that position. Right now, he's an impostor. They are all supposed to sit down, quiet, and wait for Paul Biya to form a government. No one is supposed to take any instructions from any of those people. Any act that any of those people sign right now, say an arrêté appointing people, an arrêté doing this or all or not, they are all null and void. I mean, all null and void, and should be treated as such. Why is Paul Biya unable to form a government? Some clean 3 weeks after being sworn in as president. Why is he unable to form a government? First, Paul Biya is no longer there. I've said this several times. Paul Biya is no longer there. At least 3/4 of the day, Paul Biya is deep asleep. Does not even know where he is. And so, Chantal Biya, Ferdinand Gongo, Frank Biya, Mvondo Ayolo, Oswald Baboke, and all of those people, these are the people who at this point in time are running separate camps trying to form a government. But because all of those who are in position, who fought very hard to steal elections in their various constituencies, know that Paul Biya does not have the faculties to form a new government, are not ready, are making clear by the day, they are not ready to accept any nonsense. You will find a situation where they will tell someone that you have been removed, you are no longer minister, and that person says, I'm going nowhere. This is for a fact. You want to know? Okay. Ferdinand Gongo has issued sometimes certain things such as those his decisions he calls you haute instruction. And Laurent Esso, the Minister of Justice, has refused to implement them. He said, I also know how to get haute instruction. He said, no, this is not coming from Paul Biya. I will not accept it. So right now, it's difficult to know what actually is coming from Paul Biya and what is not coming from Paul Biya. Those ministers know that a lot of the time what they hear is you haute instruction is not haute instruction from Biya. Biya does not even know what is going on. And so, who is ready to go and wait? No. Nobody is sure about tomorrow. Nobody is even certain that 2032 will meet Paul Biya there. Nobody is ready to wait for next time. There is no such thing as next time. Nobody is certain about next time. It is now. So right now, while there is serious tension as to what direction Issa Tchiroma Bakari is going to go when he finally does speak, because they are unsure who is with Issa Tchiroma Bakari right now in the top ranks of the military, because they are unaware what kind of preparation could be going on the ground. All this while that Issa Tchiroma Bakari is silent. The tension is real. They have stolen, but the booty, that booty appears to be, to be very slippery. That booty appears to be very complicated. First, not only because of sharing, but secondly, because they are not sure that they will have quiet enjoyment of that booty. And thirdly, the public embarrassment is getting louder and louder and louder. You saw what happened at the cathedral in Bamenda. That right before the apostolic nuncio, that is the representative of the Pope in Cameroon, when in church, they introduced Fai Yengo Francis, His Excellency Fai Yengo Francis, personal representative of the President of the Republic, His Excellency Paul Biya. What did you get in return? The booing was unimaginable. The booing was spontaneous. I mean spontaneous, general, and unimaginable. And the election bandits were sitting right on the front desk. They were sitting on the front rows in that church. The booing was unimaginable. From reverend fathers, from reverend sisters, from deacons, from other religions, from even every other person that was in that church. There was not a single direction you could say it is only from this direction that booing was coming. The booing, the murmuring, everything was across the board. And it was so loud so that it could not be ignored. This tells Biya that, like an African proverb says, you have stolen and stolen and stolen too much that the owners have finally taken note. The owners have finally noticed. So right now, it is serious complications within that government. They form a government in the morning. By afternoon, it has leaked out to those whose names are not in that government. They have to cancel it. And that government perhaps was coming from Frank Biya and Vondo Ayolo section. Then by late evening, the one being formed by Chantal Biya, Oswald Baboke, and Ferdinand Gongo leaks out. People whose names are not in that government say, this one, you are stupid. This is not going to pass. And now there is a serious battle, very serious battle, for the position of Secretary General at the Presidency of the Republic. Oh yes. Listen, folks. Every other member of the Bulu Beti Ekang tribe right now that is in that government who feels I also have a legitimate right to be the heir apparent to the throne, wants to be Secretary General at the presidency. They have all seen the power that Ferdinand Gongo has wielded over the years. And now they say, okay, since the Secretary General of the presidency is the vice god, no, that is what I want. Yeah. You find Louis Paul Motaze ready to abandon the position of Minister of Finance, a very coveted position, to be Secretary General of the presidency. You also hear very well that Joseph Betty Asomo, the almighty Minister of Defense, also wants to be Secretary General of the presidency. Oh yeah. You think that this is a joke? This is not a laughing matter. Jacques Famandongo, who looks yesterday as if he's just so excited to continue being minister there and just wants that, the thing should stay with them, even comes across sometimes as supporting Ferdinand Gongo. Jacques Famandongo thinks it is also a legitimate aspiration for him to be Secretary General at the presidency. Oh, yes. I say, when I was reading the notes that were sent to me last night, I was like just dying of laughter. And so the fight is real. The fight is real. And they're dangling something now in the essay called vice presidency, that the post of vice president of the republic. Very few people are flattered about that position of vice president of the republic, because they know that vice president of the republic, much as it will say that you will become the president if the president is not there, but while the president is there and gives cover to the Secretary General of the presidency of the republic, the vice president of the republic will be an errand boy reading newspapers in one obscure office somewhere, little known by anybody. So that one, no one is ready to buy it. No one is ready to buy it. And now for the post of prime minister, John Gov't himself is realizing that the dices are becoming extremely strong. And John Gov't, Joseph, knows that if it had to depend on Ferdinand Gongo and Chantal Biya to form a government, he will even be completely out of that government. Not that it's going anywhere. Oh, but you saw what was even circulating on the internet. You thought that maybe that thing that was circulating on the internet was just somebody's imagination. No. It was an actual government. It was an actual government formed by one of these two factions that I just mentioned. It was an actual government. And in that government, you find that Ferdinand Gongo is being removed from the presidency of the republic and finds himself as the Minister of State, Minister of External Relations. Ferdinand Gongo, are you mad? That he conducted everything at the end of the day. You take him further away from power. Something must be wrong with someone somewhere. And of course, you see that government, Louis Paul Motaze is the Secretary General at the presidency. You find that with all the noise that he's been making around, with all the blenders that he has ordered from every part of the world, because he needs a lot of Moulinexes to blend every single Cameroonian that raises the finger to say this election like that was not won by Paul Biya, Atanga Ponji found himself being reduced again to the position of minister without portfolio at the presidency of the republic. Oh yes. And my good friend Elvis Ngole, for all the ridicule he's been getting on media panels, on television panels, and especially from the interview that I saw him have on RFE, where he, even at the end of the day, could not let the journalists ask questions. He will be made minister without portfolio at the presidency. So you look at it very well, say, but even those people who came up and said 5,800 people voted for Paul Biya in Batibo, they were even getting forgotten. People were simply being given a kick in the ass. They become. How manage? How comes? For what? So look, folks, I said here before, and I'm reiterating here, from this moment right up to the end of the year, if you are not careful, there will still be no government in Cameroon. Because right now, the only person in that Paul Biya's 8th Republic right now as an official is Paul Biya himself. You are not expected, you should not be taking any orders from any riffraff calling themselves minister right now. Because they are not. They ended with Paul Biya's previous term. If Paul Biya wants them to continue, he has to name them. That's what the Constitution says. Once he's inaugurated, he has to name his new government for his new mandate. Oh yes. The complication is real. The infighting is unimaginable. Meantime, the image of that entire country is in a very, very, very serious decline. The tides are strong. Too strong. They have stolen. Now, manage it, make use of it. It's getting too difficult. Even that is so hard. So their inability to form a government is informing the rest of the world that right now what you have in place in Yaoundé is a gang. The looting that is taking place now is unimaginable. In normal circumstances, these ministers, those people who are still there calling themselves ministers, shall not be given credit cards to run the state budget. Yes, they cannot be accredited. Because right now, they are illegal. They are in illegality. They are just sitting there in the offices. They're just supposed to be sitting there in the offices, just occupying the place, reading newspapers and waiting. Like I said, the only recognized officials at all of those ministries now are from Secretary General downward. Anything from Secretary of State upward, they should not give instructions to anybody. They should not take any decisions. But again, like I said, it will be difficult to see a government that emerges from a 2D and that is unanimously and quietly accepted by anyone as being a government formed by Paul Biya. Because right now, Biya's major concern is fighting for his life. Biya's major concern is getting as much rest as he can get daily. It's too difficult. So all of the thieves know that we are all thieves. And what makes the situation even more complicated is that Issa Tchiroma Bakari and his team are still very lethal. Issa Tchiroma Bakari is still at large. So if you form a government and remove people who believe that they rightfully ought to be inside there, they have a place to go. Oh yes, they have a place to make recourse. They will form what they call in French le front des lésés. And they will very quickly join the resistance with Issa Tchiroma Bakari. This is the dilemma in which Yaoundé finds itself. A very, very huge dilemma. Who to remove, who not to remove. And now there are people in the opposition who contributed too, in no small way, in making sure that they guarantee Biya the banditry of this 8th mandate. They too are waiting to enter the government. They have been promised. They have been preparing their champagne parties and waiting. Cabral Libi has already arranged the number of people in his party that will join. They are sleeping and dreaming and waiting for that ultimate moment when they finally read that decree. Portant formation du gouvernement. It's not coming. Osi Joshua is there. Finally saying, okay, now soon I will enter too and chop my own. It's not coming. Bello Buba Maigari has not said a word ever since. He's just waiting for the moment to come there and tell that, okay, come back to Yaoundé with this number of people. They are waiting. Nothing is being said. Since he resigned, he's sitting in the cold. Serge Espoir Matomba is even already making arrangements in the quartiers where he will go to celebrate. Nothing is coming. And there are other young people who use a lot of money to try to buy their way into that government. You see people, you say they contributed this amount in this place, they have put in 5 million to support, to celebrate the 6th of November. They have contributed 3 million for Paul Biya's election campaign. They have contributed 20 million. All those monies they're putting in an investment to get a reward at this time. They are waiting. But a class of people who are making a lot of money right now are the marabouts. Yeah, are the marabouts. I'm telling you. I mean, those people are making a lot of money right now because there is no sleep in Yaoundé. There is no hiding place for the wicked, no hiding place for the bandits. So while Issa Tchiroma Bakari works towards rolling out the fourth phase of his action plan for resistance to finally kick out the Bia system from Yaoundé, Yaoundé is knowing no rest. They are facing a lot of trouble from their own self-inflicted wounds. And so, my dear people, those of us of the southern Cameroons, I have said this before, let us use this moment to continue to talk to our sons and daughters, brothers and sisters, uncles and aunties who are in the army of the Republic of Cameroon. Begin to educate them. Tell them, begin to make contact with one another. Begin to plan among yourselves, because there is no way this time you should not rise up to answer the most important call, which is the call to duty to save motherland. Yes, their younger brothers have been fighting now for 9 years and have held the forte very strong. They need to get ready to go join them so that we cross the finish line. Because right now, this Cameroon story is very interesting. This Cameroon story is very amazing. And it's even going to be more interesting. Let's continue to watch. Let's continue to take notes. But most especially, I'm assuring you, watch it out for yourself. The day you hear they have appointed a new government, it has come out, come and tell me. Because Shandongo, at CRTV, who will be playing the gatekeeper, because they tell you that until it is read on CRTV, will not be recognized. You don't, I don't need to tell you how many times they have actually sent decrees that they are going to the radio house to be read being new government. And by the time they got there, Shandong had received instruction to make sure those things are never read, ever. Oh, yes. It's not easy. Oh. It's not easy. So I'm laughing because they brought this upon themselves. This end of era in the Republic of Cameroon is just amazing. It's going to be full of so much laughter. Don't see the absence of people on the streets demonstrating to mean that, normalcy has returned, everything has returned to normal. No, 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 no. Don't see the absence of those ghost towns that they were calling to mean that, okay, it means that they are finally consolidated their banditry. No, 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 no. They don't have sleep. The unease is unimaginable. I'm monitoring, and when the news breaks, I'll be right back here. But first, before you go, take this very important appointment when it will be 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. At that time, it will be 8 p.m. in Fongfuka, in Boom, Fongfuka. It will also be 8 p.m. In Ekonalelu. Yeah, it will be 8 p.m. in Koto Barombi, 8 p.m. in Ebamut. At that time, I'll be right on the air for a very important interview with Eric Chinje. Don't miss that interview. There is so much you are going to learn from it. For no reason in the world, don't miss it. So make sure you are glued to the JMA connection at 3 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time this Monday, November 17, 2025. Until then, have a nice time.